Hey stunning people, my name is Beane and welcome to the Salt Lick Sessions. We have a Salt Lick grant recipient in the house today with a very unique tie to B.B. King. You're gonna love him. This is Phillip-Michael Scales.
Something filled up my heart with nothing. Well, someone told me not to cry. Well, now that I'm older, my heart is colder, and I can see that it's a lie. Well, take me to your river, I wanna go. The children wake up, hold your mistakes up before they turn the summer into dust. Children don't grow up, hold your mistakes up. We're just a million little gods causing rainstorms, turning every good thing to rust. Well, I guess we'll just have to adjust. Take me to your river, I wanna know. Please let me know. Take me to your river, I wanna go. I wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. I wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. Well, take me to your river, I wanna go. With my lightning bolts aglow, where I can see where I am going. So take me to your river, I wanna know.
Phillip-Michael.
How you feeling?
I'm doing well, how are you?
Doing all right. Is it cool if I have coffee?
Please have coffee.
Excellent.
You're a coffee guy.
Yeah, I am a coffee guy. It's part of my thing.
Are you always caffeinated?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Trying to, yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Michigan. Yeah,
From Michigan.
like just
Where in
outside of
Michigan?
Detroit, Metro Detroit, a place called West Bloomfield. Then, I lived in Chicago, lived in Boston. So I call Chicago home because I lived there for like 12 adult years.
Would you say Chicago was like more of the place where you found your artistry?
Absolutely. Yeah. Went to music school. Definitely met a whole bunch of people who sort of expanded my mind and my musical taste and my ears and all that stuff. And then, after that, went to Chicago. And I feel like post-college always kind of solidifies whatever, you know? Like, I feel like pre-post-college or whatever, you know, you're all finding who you are and figuring out what's what and trying to be cool and all that stuff. And then you get out and you're like, okay, this is who I am and this is what I want. So I would say, yeah, definitely Chicago is a proving ground for sure.
Got you. Do you come from a musical family?
Not directly. My mom played piano. My parents were big theater lovers. My aunt was really good friends with B.B. King growing up. So I always called him my uncle. he always called me his nephew, and as a result, I got a chance to sort of like watch and observe a lot of that stuff. But I would say I ran the other direction. You know,
How
he
so?
was he was a blues guy. He was a pretty dang good guitarist, and you know, I realized quickly. I was like, oh, that's not something that I'm trying to like dive into that I know. And so I just went the songwriting route and fell in love with the Beatles, fell in love with, you know, rock and roll and indie rock. So I didn't really come back to like the bluesy stuff or sort of more of the guitar stuff till after he died. You know, it's kind of a cool way to honor him. But at the same time, I would say that, like, you know, the blues is something that you don't understand, I think, until you've lived some life. I think, you know, we've all seen the 7-year-old guitar player up there on stage wailing, and it's great and it's wonderful. But at the same time, it's like, you know, there's a life to the blues. There's a, you know, a hard fought wisdom that a lot of those cats had. And so I think the older I've gotten, the more it's resonated sort of with me.
Is there anything in particular that you've gone through that you think has fed into your ability to interpret the blues?
The music industry?
That's
No,
totally a
just,
fair answer, though.
No, I think it's just, you know, you're finding your way in the world. You get older. I'm a 6'2" black male. You know, so I think navigating different, you know, scenarios, different waters, different spaces. Yeah, a lot of life comes up. You kind of bump up against a lot of life. You know, you get your heart broken. You get all sorts of, you know, things happen. So
No, totally. What is it about the industry that you think is annoying, if you had to pick a few things, because I'm sure there's a laundry list there?
I don't know that I would use the word annoying. I think that the music industry might just be a little bit oversaturated.
Sure.
And I think that as a result, you know, I mean, I went to school in 2005 to 2009, right? So that's kind of like that gap in between MySpace and Spotify, TikTok, and all that stuff. So, so you know, I kind of came up in the musical world where there's a lot of sort of wild, wild west, you know, nothing really like settled or landed. And I can't say whether or not it's settled or landed now, but I would say that as a result, a lot of people just, you know, there's not a lot of bandwidth, there's not a lot of space necessarily for development, which is why I'm so grateful for the Salt Lick. You know, you guys have been incredible to me. And so I think it's just trying to figure out your own way or find your own way in it that can be a little frustrating, because it's kind of like, you know, you don't get a roadmap and you're just kind of bumping up against walls the whole time.
Right. You talk about the oversaturation.
Sure.
But you managed to break through that. We're both grant recipients from Salt Lick.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about your project that stood out?
You know, I didn't make the decision, so I couldn't tell. But I think maybe it is some of that hard-won wisdom, some of that, you know, writing a song. Because the interesting thing about the industry is that I don't think that they necessarily say no. You know, there's just kind of silence. And so for me, when I hear silence, I'm like, oh boy, what's going on? And then it causes me to go back and inventory all of my stuff. So I think, yeah, I've just been, you know, working on my project and trying to get better, and just, you know, not seeing things as failures, but just seeing everything as an opportunity to improve.
That's
you know
fair.
what I'm saying?
I do.
And so I would like to think that, you know, the recognition kind of comes from all those, you know, experiments and chances to get better.
Yeah.
I would guess. I don't know.
For sure.
Maybe
for sure.
I'm just cute. Who knows?
It could be that too.
Could be
Yeah,
that.
that's why they gave it to me.
Yeah. I don't blame them.
It's 100% aesthetic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they can't confirm. They're both actually they're not paying
That's why
attention,
this is
but
on
that's okay.
video and it's not a radio. It's not a podcast.
You're entirely right.
Same.
Was it intimidating growing up with somebody like BB King in your orbit, in terms of, I mean, the bar is about as high as it can get?
I don't think it was for me growing up in the family. You know what I mean? It wasn't at all. I think that it was just like, kind of like Nashville, right? Like you walk around Nashville and you may just see Dan Auerbach, and you know, maybe the first time you're there, you're like, oh my God. But like later on, you're like, oh yeah, Dan's over there. Oh yeah, so this other person's over there. Because like Nashville kind of created this culture of just people walking around and just being human beings. And I think it was sort of similar when you grow up with someone, you don't have the context just yet for like oh wow, this is huge. I will say that in music school I didn't talk about it at all. I had like 4 friends who knew, and then I had a friend who I graduated with who was like a publicist, and she was like, you know, you have to tell people, right? And I was like, do I have to? Are you sure I have to do that? So he and I had a discussion. He was like, yeah, so long as their name doesn't overshadow you. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And then I just went through years of sort of doing it, and I think it does sort of it's how you tell your story. You see what I'm saying? I think that the way you tell a story for me personally is you have to really craft it in a way that people don't show up to your show with their arms crossed waiting for the next, generation of like virtuosos. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, his story was an influence, and I went away from it and I came back, and so that's kind of where it joined, as opposed to like, I sat at his knee and played Lucille and all this other sort of stuff. And then that way people are like, okay, cool, he's a songwriter, but he's not a copy of this, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Do you live in Nashville now?
I do live in Nashville.
What is it about Nashville that made you want to make it home versus Chicago, Detroit, Boston?
I think that in Nashville, there's just so much industry here and so much community here. I guess I shouldn't say industry, but as that researcher, as that person who's always trying to get better, always trying to go further, it's nice to be able to go to see another producer and be like, all right, cool, where can I improve? It's nice to be able to. It's funny because living in Chicago is great. I love Chicago. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. But there's just so many more musicians here where you're like, all right, I need a bass player, and they're like, all right, cool, here's these 4 guys. And then like Nashville, they're like, whoa, slow down.
Right.
What kind of bass player? Soul. Okay, is it a Motown thing or a Stax thing? Because those are like 2 different phone calls, So it's like the granularness that you can get in Nashville. I just feel like there's always room to improve, and there's always inspiration around you, always sort of growing. And I love that about Nashville for sure.
That's fascinating.
I've left several shows and gone home to practice.
Never taken any time off.
No.
Yeah, and your point about the granularness, I definitely feel here, and it's nice, and it kind of saves everybody time too.
Yeah, for sure. When people are doing studio sessions, they know exactly who to call. And you're like, wow. So, yeah, I love that.
Are there any artists that are up and coming right now that you think I should know, that everybody should know?
Yeah, there's a lot of up and coming artists that you should know. There's a guy named San Gabriel out of Austin, Texas. It's kind of like this dream synth pop, killing it right now. Nikki Morgan, she sang on a couple of my tracks before. She and I were like, she's my Chicago kid sister, and her voice is insane. She's going to take over the world. So, yeah, those are probably my 2 picks.
If you had to give me one Nikki Morgan song, what would it be?
Love Save Me.
Love Save Me.
That's the one that's recorded, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
for sure.
And then what do we have to look forward to from you, Phillip-Michael?
Today we're going to do, I got my band back there. We're going to sing kind of a new tune that, I'm excited to play. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
And anything coming up down the line that we can manifest, put our manifestation power behind?
Manifest like what, like an actual thing, or like what are we like?
What's your dream? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Chilling, hopefully. No, I don't know. Wow, I think it'd be really cool to play Lala.
Yeah,
I think having a real solid spot with like if I could get like a 14 font size Lawless spot, you know what I mean? I'll take the 10-point Lawless spot, you know what I mean? But like if I can get that 14 spot, I think that would be a dream. Growing up, going to Lala and all that stuff.
Got you. Okay, I'll put my manifestation power behind that.
Please
point, my
do,
friend.
Absolutely.
It's great to meet you. Thanks for coming
you.
in and talking to me.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you a squeeze too. I like to end these with a squeeze. So
yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. She took my time, clipped my wings so I wouldn't fly, made damn sure I didn't get too high. There was something calling me from the sky, questioned my decisions, picked apart my vision, poking holes in all my plans, doing too much thinking, no substitute for living. I couldn't play the game from the stand, had to be my own man, be my own man, clear my mind, roll the windows down,